Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here, grateful recovering alcoholic and addict, just like every day for it, guys. How we all doing today? Hope everybody had a good day. Today was actually a really good day. Guys, please subscribe, like the videos, leave comments if you'd like, share with anyone that might get something out of it. Definitely seeing more subscribers, and the comments come and go, but I appreciate when they do, and I love the guys who I talk to back and forth all the time. But I urge anybody to reach out, and honestly, all the attention on the channel really does help me grow, and it is slowly but consistently gaining a little more attention, and that means the world to me, guys. I appreciate it more than I know how to tell you. So what topic of today is going to be reinvention, because I was thinking about it today. Like, literally, I've managed to reinvent myself, and again, and I say this every time, and I'm always gonna, I give it all to God, guys. I mean, the more the more trust and belief, and the more you lean on your faith, the more you're gonna get out of it. It's as simple as that. And again, I say it all the time. Any amount of faith is good because it points you in the right direction. But literally, I came to realize as soon as I got into rehab this time that what got me there, because guys, again, I've said it before, the only time was ever able to get sober is by getting locked up. And then, of course, I would get locked up, and my head would get clear after I went through the hellish withdrawals, because it is, guys. And even the prisons are actually starting to give you medically assisted treatment now. But again, when I was going through this stuff, you'd either go to medical, and that was like solitary confinement, basically, where you just suck it up and you lay in bed for 3 or 4 days and just go through absolute hell, and you get up. But again, I'd go through the withdrawals, and I'd get up, and I'd start to get clear, and like, oh my God, thank God the drug's out of my system. And I'd want more than anything to be able to get a fresh start, and I'd usually look for a halfway house or a treatment program from jail, so that I could get a leg up and start getting something going. But I never leaned into my faith. I always thought it was something I had to do on my own, and I've always felt like, because literally, guys, I spent my whole life being on my own. I'd lost my parents when I was real young, and tried to help raise my younger brothers, and it's a shit show. And again, not a poor me party, because it is what it is, and a lot of people out there have it way worse than I did. But my point being, it always failed, because I was always just me, living with myself, never trying to really embrace change, or never being willing to reinvent myself, always thinking that the things that I had, the baggage that I had, the situations that I had what that was my lot in life, not understanding that literally we have the power to choose and decide. And again, a big part of that is faith, is understanding, is building a relationship with your God, when whatever you choose. Again, I always like to say that, just I don't want to be God guy, and again, I do want to be God guy, because I walk hand in hand with God, and I give God so much credit. God, the minute I asked God into my life, and that's the difference this time, guys, that's what I did. I would pray before, I would do this, I would do that, half-heartedly. But again, what happened this time around was I saw it coming, and I knew I was literally about to be homeless. I'm getting older. I didn't want to go through that again. I didn't want to be where I was, and I knew that even if I went to rehab, I might stay clean for a month or two, and I'd end up back right where I was. So I literally started praying to God before my life crashed out, for help. Like, let me in your light. Let me walk in your light. Show me your path for me. And that was the most powerful thing I ever did, not knowing that it was at the time. It was just honest and coming from my heart and from my soul, because I knew there had to be something better. I always knew in the back of my head there was something better for me, but literally it had gone on so long that I'd started to think that it wasn't going to happen. And again, what happened was I allowed God into my heart, and little by little that voice started to get growing and growing, and finally made me stand up and say, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm gonna fight for what I have, my life. You know what I mean? And guys, this time around, because I asked God in, and I continued to get out of my head and pray and ask Him every single day consistently, God, please show me. Please show me. Please show me where I'm lacking, what I need, what am I doing wrong, And little by little, guys, literally, not even little by little, in a very short period of time, and overnight, more or less, I realized that I had to heal all this shit that I've been carrying. I had to drop all the burdens, drop all the baggage, let go of that past version of me. And then, but in order to do that, I had to look at my accountability in every situation that happened in my life, and understand that literally I had the power to choose, and I was allowing this to happen. So why was I choosing? B, why was I allowing? Why wasn't I sticking up? Why wasn't I opening my eyes? And literally, and it's no, I mean, it typically very simple yet profound at the same time. And I understand, and I started to get what I needed to heal, what I needed to look at, what I needed to. And again, most of it came down to just literally getting off my ass and standing up, um, having self-respect for myself that I wouldn't allow myself to do the shit that I've been doing, because I literally did things to myself I wouldn't allow anybody else to do. But then even then, I allowed other people to do just walk all over me because I had no self-respect for myself, and that's okay. And I'm not trying. Again, I put these things out there, guys, not for sympathy, because I want anybody else that's feeling the same way to understand that's okay. You're not alone. That these things happen, particularly when we're in trauma for a long time and we're experiencing traumas. And guys, like I haven't, I put my my testimony out there, but that's a fraction of the traumas that I've endured. And I made up. And here's the thing: once I allowed God into my life, God took the pain of those traumas away and started showing me the resiliency that I had built up by going through those things and not letting those things beat me. Started highlighting the fact, and literally through other people around me, because all of a sudden other people in the rehab that I was with, like, man, you're the most upbeat, positive person, you've got the greatest attitude, you're the most nurturing person. Like, God started showing me the attributes of me that mattered, that I needed to start putting my emphasis on, and started building up and starting, instead of looking at myself through the lens of this hurt and abused, traumatized person, the PTSD and everything else that I was dealing with. Literally, I was able to just shed that shit, just let the shit go, because again, I did it in God. I was asking God for the help, and if you do this, you'll get the same results. It's the reason I keep harping on it, because literally, it is the difference maker, guys. I'm not bawling by any means. I say this all the time. Most of you watching me are probably doing 100 times better than I am in life, but nobody is on the meteoric rise that I am on right now. And again, it's not that I'm at any huge level. It's the fact that I was so fucking low. I was coming from a place so low. And none of that is affecting me in any way, shape, or form right now. Like I talked to you guys about it, guys. I've been sentenced to prison 16 times. I've had high-speed chases. I've got a fucking record that's 40-something pages long, and none of it's bad. It's like none of it's no assault and batteries, no robberies, no fucking crazy felonies like that, but just driving and drugs and shit of that nature. Of a bunch of OUIs that are all 20 plus years old, 30 plus years old at this point. Anyway, but again, like I was allowing that shit to control who I am, right? But when all of a sudden I put my faith in God and literally reinvented myself and literally just took everything into account, saw what my strengths are, saw what my abilities are, saw the frame that I had to work within, and actually was willing to say, okay, this is what it is, and I'm going to make the fucking best of this by doing everything I can. All the shit that I used to, when they used to talk about intensive outpatient programming when I was in rehab, and I'm like, if I'm not locked in a halfway house, I'm not signing up for all this crap. And literally, this time around, I'm like, geez, it literally was screaming at me, hey, you know what? The fact that bothered you so much is because it's exactly what you need. And I latched onto it. And again, I wasn't put there by anybody but myself. So literally, the day I walked out, I didn't have to do any of this stuff, but I went voluntarily, and I'm continuing to go voluntarily. And guys, it is making such a difference in my life, because I'm getting the help that I needed. And before, I didn't want to admit that I needed help, right? And again, it's not anything crazy. It's just having a little bit of positivity and a little bit of support in your life, and that's what I'm urging you to do is get out of your own way, get out of your head, align yourself with your higher power, God, universe, spirit, goddess, whatever you're comfortable with, Allah, Buddha, like it's all good, guys, it really is. And again, I'm always going to say that, because you look at the fact, and that's what literally drove me away for so long, because it was all this organized religion, and I'm not picking anybody that is into their religion. As long as you're not one of these people that says that, oh no, you call your God Allah, I call mine God, so we must shoot each other. Guys, think about that. That's insane. Like the fact that more people have died over worshiping the same God under a different name is the most absurd thing in the world, and that's terrible, right? And I think we're finally coming to a place in life, or at least I like to think we are, and I like to see that we are, that we're starting to understand that, and we're starting to be more accepting of each other's customs. Because that's all it is, guys. It's just different customs. I say it all the time. God makes no two people alike, and every one of us has a divine plan. And we all have something to learn from each other. Every one of you out there can learn something from me, and I can learn something from every one of you out there, and we all can. And when we're willing to be open and honest and not so guarded and not so worried about somebody seeing the weaker side, or it's not even weaker side, it's just, things that we look at as our insecurities. And most of the time, your insecurities aren't insecurities at all. It's just your feelings and your thoughts, your beliefs, and possibly things that you need to heal. Like, I'm an open book, and I have no problem telling anybody. And it's funny, like, it's gotten to the point now where I'm starting to meet people and, talk to a couple, starting to get to the point where I feel like I'm ready to go on a date here and there. And so I'm starting to meet people, and it's like, as a matter of fact, I'm kind of starting to talk to somebody local here, and it's like, I'm like, oh shit, am I gonna? And I'm like, no, immediately, like, no, like, as a matter of fact, I'm literally gonna approach it by, when we started talking, and you're like, oh, what do you do for a living? Well, I do property maintenance, plumbing, heating, handyman service, and I also have a YouTube channel for the Power and Faith and Recovery, because it's a perfect way to broach it right there. Oh, what is that about? Oh, well, I've spent years as a drug addict, and as you can see, that's not who I am today, but it's very important to me to give back and to help others, because, addiction is a huge part of my story, but I don't want it to be something that I'm ashamed of. And if anybody's going to literally not want to be with me because of that, I'd rather know that right off the bat, because literally this is who I am. I'm not gonna meet some girl and start doing my YouTube channel because she doesn't want to know about my past. Like, if that's how you feel, then clearly you're not the person for me. And that's not the person God wants in my life. The person I'm going to be with is going to support this endeavor and see the strength and the resiliency and the beauty of what I've been able to overcome, and how much of a beautiful person that makes me, and the fact that I care, and you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to build bottom my head. I'm just saying, you got to understand these things. So oftentimes, guys, we have a type, and that's the other thing I had to understand, guys. I've invited broken relationship into my life because I looked at myself as being broken, and my nurturing nature attracted broken people because that's the way I was operating from, and that's not where I am anymore, guys. I'm literally like, I'm shutting that out. And again, I want to help as many as I can, and I want to nurture, but I want somebody that actually has the ability to do the same for me. For once in my life, I'm going to demand that whoever I'm with has got to at least be willing to be as good to me as I am to them, and it's never been the case before. Before, it was always like, I went for the exterior, the external look only, and then the personality based suck, but I'll work with it, or whatever. It's not always the case, but bottom line is, it's just literally understanding that everything in my life needed to change, and I'm so happy that I was willing to do that, because again, I'm still in early stages of it, but the signs and the synchronicities and the opportunities and the just the experiences that I'm starting to have on a daily basis. Literally, guys, 100 times a day, I look up at the sky and just thank God. Like, God, thank you so much for coming into my heart when I asked you to, because it has changed my entire world in ways that I never dreamed were possible. And I'm so incredibly grateful for that. And that's why I tell you guys, gratitude, gratitude is one of the most powerful things you can have in your life, because when you're grateful, honestly, it attracts more good things into your life, guys. Energy flows where our attention goes. It's as simple as that. And I don't like to be too cliche. I like to get into depth and explain what I'm talking about. But that's just God's honest truth, guys. You know what I mean? You attract what you focus on. And again, I'm focused. And again, I struggle. I deal with a lot of the bullshit, right? But I refuse to let that be what I'm about today. I refuse to let those things take space in my head. I accept them as part of everyday life, and I accept that I got to deal with that stuff, but I don't let it be what my life is about. And because I'm not about that, because I'm about being grateful for the beauty of my life, and because I'm willing to like work my tail off, helping others, and just being the very best healed, honest, upfront, and I think before I speak, and I look at how it's going to affect other people, and I care about how, because literally, like, the most important thing to me at this point is do no harm. So I can't entertain somebody that I think is not going to be aligned with me right now, because in the end, God forbid, they end up liking me more than I like them, and I end up hurting them, because that's literally not what I'm about today. I don't have that in me. So that's making me be more honest and upfront than I've ever been willing to be before. And because of that, I'm literally making sure that I put out what I need out of any relationship going in, because I don't want to let things get overhead. And I know these things aren't always easy to do, particularly if you're lonely. The biggest thing you got to do is not be lonely. It's like you never go grocery shopping while you're hungry. Never go looking for a relationship when you're all in a bad place and feeling like you need somebody in your life. If you need somebody in your life, let it be you. Let it be God. Build your relationship with God and fix your relationship with yourself. Because here's the thing, guys. I am actually perfectly happy being in hermit mode, but everything in my life, and basically it's the intuitive nudges I get from God that are starting to make me want to expand, because I'm getting to a place where that's kind of my next level of healing is having a positive, um, nurturing one-on-one personal relationship with a woman. And again, that's not that I'm focusing on that, but I understand that I kind of feel that it's coming into my life. And I don't know if it's spring or whatever. It's just that I've reached that level of healing, but at the same time, I'm apprehensive because I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. I'm kind of enjoying where my focus is, but again, that's all part of the next level of healing. Because if God says I'm ready for it, He's going to bring it into my life, and I'm going to welcome anything God said brings into my life. Because if it's coming from Him, it's divine and it's beautiful and it's exactly what's meant to be. So I'm going to entertain anything, but I'm not at a point where I'm like running around trying to find somebody, because literally I'm not. But all of a sudden an opportunity presented itself, and I'm like, oh, and it kind of aligned. And it's funny, but it's because of the work that I've done on myself. It's somebody that I've bumped into for the last year and a half and really never paid me any attention, and I never paid her any attention because I wasn't in a place of healed where I'm willing to be out, willing to come out of myself. And it's just literally the difference is just saying hi, bumping into each other at the same place. But because I'm a more radiant and higher vibrating, outgoing, caring, looking around to see where I can be a better person, she's taken notice of me, and we just started small talk. And again, doesn't for all I know, she may be married. Well, she doesn't have a ring on her finger, but I did notice that. But again, we're getting to know each other, and there's no pressure. We haven't asked each other out. We haven't admitted that anything going on. But you can see it coming from a mile away. You know what I mean? The giggly, the laughter, the stopping to. It used to be hi as we walk in, and now it's standing outside the place we bump into each other and talking for 10 minutes. You know what I mean? So clearly it's going somewhere. Doesn't mean anything yet, but again, it's God has put that in my life, and it's happened because I wasn't running around searching for it. If I was chasing this girl around like a dog, she'd be scared to death of me. But it's because I've healed myself and done the work that I have, and I'm literally where I'm at this point in life that may be the case coming in. And again, it could not. But again, and I'm okay with either result, whatever it is. I'm going to take it one step at a time, but I'm open to it without chasing. And that's the thing, guys. You gotta heal yourself and make yourself the best version of yourself, and then be willing to detach and be happy with who you are and where you're at, and focus on building your life for yourself, not for somebody else. And that's when good things happen, guys. Like I think that's manifesting 101 from the reality of it, if you want to look at it that way, or just building a life, or the way things work. But we're getting up here in time. I'm in a good mood today, guys. Spring is in the air. Good things are happening. I fixed the backup camera on my new truck today. I gave it a nice good cleaning. Got a bunch of work done. Found a bunch of stuff that my former landlord didn't realize was at another property that he's been looking for. So I made his day. Stuff he was about to have to replace that I found that we had somewhere along the line. It got stored or somewhere they didn't realize that it didn't belong, and saved him a whole bunch of money not having to do it. And these are the things that have happened today, guys, because of who I am today, and the fact that I don't cut corners. I go the extra mile. I literally ended up at another property just to check on something that didn't need to be checked on, but I just wanted to. I was checking on other properties. I'm like, let me go by there and make sure there's no problems there. And boom, there we go. You know what I mean? And now I look like a hero again. But this is what happens when you challenge yourself to be the best version of you, because you'll get these little intuitive nudges that, hey, if I'm doing all this, I haven't done this yet. Maybe I should go, just be on top of everything. And that's the beauty of today, guys. And I used to be, I was always like, oh, I don't have time. I'm getting more done. My life is 100 times more expansive today than it ever was. And I'm getting more done because I'm, again, not constantly reacting to external pressures. I'm thinking things through. I'm taking care of things one shot. I'm being the best healed version of me in every situation. And it's literally just making me understand that I've got room for so much more in my life, for cutting out all the fucking stupidity, all the negativity, all the bullshit. And guys, I absolutely love it. And that's why I urge and I try and share. Try these things, guys. Align yourself with your God. It doesn't matter where you are in your life right now. Look at anything you're not happy with. And again, even if you're happy with everything, build your relationship with your higher power. Literally lean into it. Give reverence. Be grateful. It literally just multiplies the beauty and the good things in your life. And if you are struggling, and I understand how hard it is to do, so don't think you got to take it all at once. But the most important thing is stop the snowball from running you over in any way, shape, or form, whatever it takes. And again, if you need help, reach out. I will find a way to help you, even just talking you through shit or pointing you in the right direction. Or, one thing about me is I've been through everything, so I got an idea how to get around or get over or stop anything. And I'm here to help, guys. It's literally my life's purpose. Guys, God loves you. I love you. I appreciate you all so very much. This channel is literally becoming the most amazing thing in my life. And it's not, it's not hugely expansive yet. I hope to grow it to that point at some point. But it's important. It's my community. You guys are starting to be my tribe. And that's all I've ever wanted in life is, guys, is a place that I fit in. And I get to be somebody that, people want to hang out with. So, guys, thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. God loves you. I love you. We'll see you tomorrow.